Okay, so what I want to do now is go through a harder sine slash cosine rule example question. This sort of question gets a lot of people really confused. So let's go through this. So this is the sort of triangle that you deal with, which confuses people. Now, lots of people see that they've got three pieces of info, and that's what you need for the sine or the cosine rule. So that's great. But the problem is that the particular angles and sides I've given you aren't quite in the right positions to deal with a basic sine or cosine rule formula. So let's show you why this is the case and why there's a bit of a problem here. So first up, we've only got one pair. So that suggests the cosine rule. If you use the formula, you'll notice your pair is 32 degrees and 10 meters. That has to be your A in your capital A. And if you put that into the formula, you get something like this. So you get that your B and your C are 5 and X, and that goes in for B and C. And you get this sort of equation where you've got x squareds and you've got x's. It's actually really hard to solve this to get x by itself. You actually don't want to do this sort of thing. You don't want to rely on the cosine rule to do this sort of question. What you need to do in this situation to make it a lot easier for yourself is to actually, instead of finding out x, try to find out something different. Try to find this angle instead. The reason why I'm looking at that angle is because that is the pair with this 5 that I've got. And we can find that one quite easily by using the sine rule, because suddenly now I've got two pairs. So I tried to make pairs. So we can do that. We can use the sine rule here to find out what this theta is, even though we don't want that in the end. Okay, so theta and 5 go together, so just like that. And the 32 and the 10 go together, just like that, in the sine rule with the two pairs. And this, we got to get theta by itself. We times by the 5, and then we get rid of the sine by taking inverse sine, or sine minus 1. And we get that theta is equal to all this in the end. And that comes out as 15.36 degrees. So that's what that angle there is. So we're pretty much trying to get more information about this so that we can have more pairs, and therefore we can eventually try to pair up with our x like this, and we try to figure out this angle here. So because we know this angle and this angle, we can figure out this third one by using the angle sum of a triangle. They all add up to 180 degrees. So if I do 180, take away what I've got, these two, it leaves me over with my final angle 132.64 degrees. So that's up there. And now we know heaps about our triangle. We've got many pairs. And the idea is now that we can make a pair with x and another pair. And we can use that for the sine rule. So we pretty much had to use sine rule twice here for this to work. Okay, so when we do that, we put our x and our 132 together, so just like this. And our 10 and our 32 go on top of each other like this. And then we get x by itself by multiplying by that. So we times by that. And then we're left over with this in our calculator, and x equals that. And then we're done. So, yeah, it's not always as straightforward as some of the questions that you've been seeing with the sine and cosine rule. Sometimes you have to really think a little bit harder about it and try to figure out other things before you can figure out what you want. Good luck with this all, guys. Bye.